Hello, good people. Now, I know you. YouTube analytics tell me that you are over the age of 30. And we like games that take us back to the past era, a little bit of nostalgia. And I have found the perfect game for us, Heidelberg 1693. And when I say found, what I really mean is Red Hot Games slipped me some cash and the game miraculously appeared on my radar. Funny that. Yeah, Red Hot Games asked me to show off Heidelberg 1693 to you guys, and after playing it, I decided to say yes because it's a pretty good game that deserves some attention in the waves of new Switch games that come every single week. Before we get into it, Heidelberg is releasing this week digitally on the Switch, PS4, PS5, and those confusing Xboxes for $15 and euros and £13.50. And physical versions are up for pre-order right now at redartgames.com. Links are in the description with our 10% discount code SWATCH10. Click our link and you can use that code. So what is Heidelberg all about? Well, it is a 2D side-scrolling action game. So far, so straightforward. But the reason this one appealed to me more than others of this genre is the slower, slightly more tactical pace. Because for me, this is the kind of game that would fit supremely well side by side with the old school Castlevania and Ghouls and Ghosts. You ain't sprinting, you're going slowly, taking down enemies in your way one by one to get to the end of the level. And the Gothic horror theme just cements that feeling. With 20 levels, you are a lone musketeer out for the Moon King's head. There is a story to this game, but considering you're a mincing musketeer blowing zombies' heads off, it's not that important. Because yeah, the undead are after you, and not only zombies, but all sorts of peculiar stuff from the minds of the truly disturbed. These developers have been drinking way too much milk before bedtime. This is some weird stuff. Sure, you have your normal soldiers, but then you have, well, just this kind of horrific stuff. If you get a kick out of weird enemy designs, you'll get a kick out of Heidelberg. But that's not the main point of you being here though, it is the gameplay that is king. This is a slightly slower paced action platformer. You have your normal attack, which you can spam and is rather effective. Enemies go down in usually 1 or 2 hits, and you'll be using this for most of the game, but the gimmick for Heidelberg is the musket. You are not a musketeer without a musket. Your dashing Frenchie is equipped with an old school bad boy with only a handful of shots, and yes, you can only use 1 shot at a time. 1 shot, then a 5-second reload animation. You probably think that's a pain in the arse, and it truly is. But that just means you have to save it for really special occasions, like birthdays and Pancake Wednesday. That's what makes it so interesting, since you have to be very careful about when and where you use it. And then, make sure you manually reload. Can't tell you the amount of times I pulled out my boomstick only for me to realize I hadn't reloaded. Not great when there's a boss charging at you. And let me tell you, your health will go down on you quicker than a desperate divorcee at a nightclub. It's a tough game, but not unfair. Most of the time, it does have its moments. Like I said, you've got to take it slow, enemy by enemy. If you run into the hordes like a moron, then you get what you deserve. You don't have much in the way of defense, but despite the extravagant clothing, this boy is fairly nimble, especially when it comes to jumping out of the way. You have a double jump if you attack mid-air, and you turn into a helicopter sort of thing. This is very useful for mutilating hanging corpses for big bonus points. Not sure that's transposable to real life. You won't be getting any bonus points, you'll be getting a prison sentence. But hey, that's video games. Mash them corpses like they'll be the last potatoes you ever eat. As you can see, it is a gorgeous game if you're a weirdo, but one can appreciate the really nice 2D artwork done here in both the foreground and the background. There's plenty of depth and nice touches of personality to bring you into this incredibly unappealing 17th century world. You can almost smell the open drainage and lack of sanitary awareness, where everyone stank so bad no one noticed. You really get that feeling with Heidelberg. The designs are sharply drawn, very crisp, and pop off the screen in all its disgusting beauty. There is nice variety as well, not just the same areas over and over again. There's quite a bit of effort to add different types of locations, weather, and even gimmicks. Like this part where the area is taking cannon fire from a ship. Yeah, it's a pain in the arse, but it's something different to think about. I also like how the enemies are also after each other. Zombies will take out zombies. Normal soldiers will take out zombies. And even they will shoot each other if someone is in the way. And those cannonballs flying at you from the sea, they'll also be your best friend as they plow through waiting enemies. So it's very tactical, and this friendly fire aspect should be used to your advantage to make your life easier and need to use less shots yourself or risk getting into the line of fire. Also, for me, something that made this game interesting is the unpredictability of the enemies. Every time you play, many enemies will throw something different at you, and I don't mean like a baseball, I mean they will act differently, do something different. Sometimes they'll just charge at you from nowhere, sometimes they'll hold back, sometimes they'll use a long-range attack instead. You'll notice this especially if you mess up over and over again at one point. Respawning at a checkpoint, you'll see how they always seem to do something different. So this really adds replay value and makes it feel like you're not just playing against a pre-programmed robot. So, what is there to complain about? Well, spelling the name of the game, that's a problem. Can't tell you how many times I spelled it wrong. I mean, I before E except have to C. Alright mate, bet they didn't see Heidelberg coming. Oh yeah, and this absolute knob that is a skull who decides dying is too good for him at times, he just follows you around and spews more skulls at you and respawns enemies. Could have done without that, but it's a minor point, it is kind of annoying. But remember, this game is available digitally on all consoles this week for the very reasonable price of $15. With 20 levels, that's above and beyond this normal type of arcadey style action platformer that they usually give. The gameplay is good, and the amount of detail and design put into the level artwork and enemies is sublime. If you're buying digitally, check out SwitchWatch.net. We have eShop credit right there for most regions. But if you're a physical collector like myself, you're going to want to grab this physically instead from redartgames.com. Please click the links in the description whether you want it on Switch, PS4 or PS5. If you click the link and buy it, you also support us at the same time. Plus, we got you covered with SWatch10. That's a discount code to nab you 10% off anything from their website, but just do us a favor and always click one of our links first. Overall, if you're into testing your skill, going a bit old school, with simple but easily used mechanics, Heidelberg is just a good time. Despite its arcadey nature, it boasts 20 levels, some quite long, and plenty of boss fights. While it does have its tough moments, it's generous enough with checkpoints and quick respawns that you're instantly back in the action. The tactical usage of the rifle is a unique gimmick that works. You can't spam it, but it's not overly stingy as you can refill it over the levels. I absolutely love the grotesque Gothic horror artwork found here. The overly gory and mildly comic designs are just great. It borders on comedy horror, what with him mincing about all over the place. If you enjoy old school Castlevania, super ghouls and ghosts, Heidelberg 1693 will be right up your alley. And if you want to purchase it, be sure to click the links in the description, since I'm not sure anyone can successfully spell it well enough for Google to realize what the hell you're talking about. Alright, thanks to you, Red Art Games, for sponsoring this video and allowing me to tell you about this pretty snazzy game. Last month I showed another one of theirs off, a shooter called Soft Star, and that's really awesome too. They've got some great games coming, so be sure to check them out, subscribe, and be awesome.